Hello students, I understand you're having some trouble figuring out the slopes on the bread prices graph and also probably more frequently in how to draw lines on the graph. Well, for the latter part, I don't have a really good solution. The way I did it was to copy and paste the image into Microsoft Word and then to use the insert shapes feature in Microsoft Word to draw the lines. So that was how I did it, but I've used a slightly different approach here. I imported the picture into Desmos. And here's what I did. So you can see the picture in front of you. And here's what I did was I added four straight lines to the picture. So this orange and blue and the red and green are straight lines. Okay, and the equations for these straight lines are over here. You can see the red, green, blue, orange, and blue down here. Now, what you've been reading this week has been about slopes. So you recognize that in this equation of the straight line, m is the slope and c is the intercept. That is when the x is the independent variable. The line generated has a slope of m1. I'll show you in just about a moment. And c1 is the intercept that the line makes with the y-axis. Okay, so let's just take this red line. And what happens here is right now its slope is being shown as 0 because it's horizontal, right? So the slope is 0 corresponding to a horizontal line. Now, all slopes of this form are straight lines. It's just the tilt of the line is different. So let's change the slope of this particular line, and by moving the slider, M1, and you can see the line slope is changing, right? It was 0 here, and it's got a value of about 10. To get it particularly vertical, or explicitly vertical, I should say, the slope becomes infinite at that point because of you're trying to divide by 0, that's why, okay? So we won't do that, and in any case, you don't need such a steep slope. So what you can do is if you sort of eyeball it here, and so the slope is roughly 1 about right now. But what I'm going to do is to try and move the intercept like so, okay? Now what I want to do is to try, well, all right, let's try to line this red line up with this segment of the graph, right? So I've got that here, and I think this is a better fit or more representative of the slope. I can move this line again by moving the intercept, and and more or less I've now got the slope of the line, which is at 1.2. You can change the resolution by, if you click in this region here where my cursor is, you can change the resolution, for instance, you can change it to 0.01 and click back here, and now you've got, you've got, you can move the slope in smaller, oops, not that one. Where did it go? Yeah, you can move this in smaller increments, and likewise with the intercept, you can make it very small and be very careful on how you move the intercept. That's kind of up to you to decide what you're comfortable with. But anyway, here you are. So you've got the slope of about 1.2. Let's see, the segments that I count on this is 1. From here to here is 2, which is basically horizontal, like I showed in the picture I posted in the discussion. This is another segment. And this is kind of, I measured the slope. Oops, let me see if I can move this or do something a little bit different with it. Okay, let's move the line. Anyway, by fiddling around with this, you can get the slope to change. I really should be using the orange line here as what the deal is. That's why, or the, yeah, because that allows me to get the intercept smaller. Okay, I just put in some parameters in here. You can change these, like for instance, you can make this, or here, let's do the slope. You can make the slope different by changing the beginning value for the slope and the ending value for the slope and the step size. But anyway, play around with these equations and see what you can find about the slopes of the different portions of the graph. One other thing, here's this wrench icon. If you click on the wrench icon, you can turn the background grid in the Desmos graph itself on or off. I removed the background grid because it'll just interfere with the grid that is already shown in the graph. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. This has been a pretty quick recording, but I hope it's able to help you. All right, let me know if you have any questions, okay?